Some people can walk past a casino, scroll past a betting app, hear about a crazy win from a friend, and feel absolutely nothing. No itch, no curiosity, no little voice saying what if. And if you are one of those people, congratulations. You are either secretly enlightened, deeply boring, or your brain is wired in a way that the gambling industry absolutely hates. Because this world is engineered to make you take chances. Flashing lights, near misses, dopamine jingles, influencers telling you how they turn lunch money into a Lamborghini. And yet some people look at all of that and think, yeah, no. Not because they are scared, not because they are disciplined monks living in the mountains, but because gambling just registers as noise. Static, a bad deal wrapped in glitter. And that difference is not random, it is psychological. It starts with how you perceive risk. Most people feel risk emotionally first and rationally later. Their brain reacts before their calculator does. The possibility of winning lights up anticipation, hope, excitement, and the possibility of losing gets quietly pushed to the background. People who never gamble flip that order. Their brain runs the numbers before the emotions even show up. They do not feel the upside first. They feel the structure, the odds, the asymmetry. You lose small amounts many times and occasionally win back a piece of what you already lost. And once you see that pattern clearly, the excitement just collapses. It is hard to feel thrilled by a rigged coin toss when you understand the rig. These people are not pessimistic. They are probability literate, and that literacy acts like emotional armor. Another big piece is delayed gratification. Gambling is instant reward culture in its purest form. Press button, feel something. Spin wheel, feel something. Bet placed, heart rate up. The outcome does not even matter that much. The stimulation is the product. But people who never gamble tend to be wired for slow rewards. Their brain does not spike easily from anticipation alone. They want causality. Effort leads to outcome. Skill compounds over time. They get more satisfaction from watching a bank account grow slowly than from watching numbers jump randomly. To them, gambling feels like trying to microwave a relationship instead of building one. It promises speed, but delivers emptiness. And because their dopamine system is not easily hijacked by randomness, the hooks simply do not catch. Control is another massive factor. Gambling requires surrendering control to a system you do not influence. You're not steering, you are hoping. And people who never gamble usually have a strong internal locus of control. They believe outcomes should be tied to actions. Even when things go wrong, they want to know what lever they pulled that caused it. Gambling offers no lever, just a button. That lack of agency feels uncomfortable rather than exciting. It is not thrilling to them. It is irritating, like shouting into the void and waiting for applause. There is also a calmness under pressure that comes with this mindset. Because if you do not gamble, you train your nervous system to tolerate boredom, uncertainty, and slow progress without panicking. You are not constantly chasing spikes. When money gets tight, you do not reach for risk as a solution. You tighten systems, you reduce variables, you wait, and in a world full of financial landmines, that patience quietly saves people from disasters they never even realized they avoided. Past experience plays a role too, but not always in the obvious way. Some non-gamblers watch someone close to them lose money, relationships, or self-respect to gambling. Others simply grew up in environments where money was treated as a tool, not a toy. In those households, money was something you protect, allocate, and respect, not something you throw into a fire to see what happens. That framing sticks. Once money becomes symbolic of stability, safety, or freedom, risking it for stimulation feels absurd, like using your seatbelt as a jump rope. There is also an identity component. People who never gamble often see themselves as someone who does not need external thrills to feel alive. They get stimulation from mastery, progress, autonomy, or meaning. Gambling does not align with that self-image, and humans will unconsciously avoid behaviors that conflict with how they see themselves. You can tempt someone with money, you can tempt someone with excitement, but if the behavior threatens their identity, the temptation just slides off. This is why fear-based explanations miss the point. These people are not afraid of losing. They simply do not see gambling as a legitimate path to gain. And when your brain classifies something as illegitimate, it stops negotiating with it. It is like being offered a free sandwich from a guy who is standing in a dark alley whispering about how fresh it is. You are not scared. You are just uninterested. And here is the part nobody talks about. This mindset scales beyond gambling. The same psychology that makes someone ignore betting apps also protects them from bad investments, predatory loans, influencer scams, and emotional decision-making under stress. They are less likely to chase hype, less likely to confuse motion with progress, less likely to trade long-term stability for short-term relief. In chaotic situations, their default response is not to roll the dice. It is to reduce randomness, to simplify, to regain control. That is why they often appear boring, right up until something goes wrong and everyone else starts panicking. Then suddenly, the boring person is the calm one, the one with a plan, the one who did not bet the rent money on hope. And ironically, the gambling industry understands this psychology very well. That is why their entire business model is built around bypassing it. They use lights, sounds, social proof, near misses, fake skill illusions, and time distortion to short-circuit rational processing. They are not trying to convince your calculator. They are trying to distract it. And when that does not work, when someone sees through the noise, the system has nothing left. No argument, no appeal, just silence. Which is exactly how gambling feels to people who never do it. Silent, flat, uninteresting. And maybe that is the real difference. Some brains are tuned to hear the music in the chaos. Others hear only static. And in a world designed to extract attention, money, and impulse from you at every turn, being bored by temptation might be one of the most powerful survival traits you can have. So, if you have ever wondered why gambling does nothing for you, why you feel oddly immune while others spiral, it is not a flaw. It is not fear. It is a different operating system. One that values clarity over excitement, control over hope, and slow certainty over fast chaos. And while it may never make for a flashy story at a party, it quietly keeps your life intact, which, statistically speaking, is the real jackpot.